everybody. Welcome back to the Full Hauntsman. This is episode number 5. And with us for episode number 5 is special guest Johnny 5 is alive. We're joined today by Johnny from Hauntscene.
What's up, guys? Johnny Bronto from Hauntscene, and Johnny 5. Actually, that works. Can I just be, just for this episode, perhaps the 5th Hauntsman?
I don't know. It doesn't really flow. It doesn't even sound right.
All I'm thinking of is like Poochie from The Simpsons when they brought him in to save the show.
I'm like a ringer.
My planet needs me. I have to go now.
And with us, as always, is Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Drew.
Hello.
And we've got Paul.
Hello, hello.
So, we've been waiting for Halloween Horror Nights news. And we finally got some Halloween Horror Nights news.
Right? Back to back.
Where do we start? Should we start with the good stuff first? Or the, I guess, bad stuff?
I think I want to reference something before we even go into Halloween Horror Nights news. We're going to make you wait even longer for Halloween Horror Nights news because I need to acknowledge something. Crap, and I've already screwed it up because it's the wrong date. I was all excited to talk about this today, but yesterday, I thought it was today, while we were recording this, is the 30th anniversary of the Monster Squad.
Ooh.
I was going to bring it up, and I was all excited. I'm like, we're recording on the 30th anniversary of the Monster Squad? No, we're not. It was yesterday. Oh, well.
Way to go. You fail.
I failed.
Monster Squad confirmed.
There you go.
That's
You're taken out of the Four Hauntsmen, and now Johnny goes in.
Johnny's in. Yeah, that's
Poochie,
how,
you're
wow.
in.
Paul is now the 5th Hauntsman.
Yeah, Paul edits right out of this podcast.
Sweet. Well, I guess it's all downhill from here. I should just keep my mouth shut.
So we did get some news over consecutive days from Universal. Universal was live on Twitter. I don't know if it was like Saturday night or Sunday night, where they kind of had their apology to the folks out there saying that, all information would be released in good time, but then kind of tweeted out a couple of teaser pictures. So we got some pictures that were probably less than impressive, with typewriter with red rum or murder, depending on your point of view, spelled out, and some pictures from some of the other mazes there as well. I think it's kind of stuff that we had traditionally seen earlier in the season for announcements from their media team. And I'm not sure what you guys think about that.
It was just to shut everybody up for a night. That's basically what it was. Friday night at 11 o'clock. The only people who are probably reading Twitter at 11 o'clock on a Friday night are the same people that are pounding their keyboards every afternoon waiting for an announcement. So I think they did it at the right time for those type of people. And I mean, like, it's always cool. I think that's something that their Twitter and social aspect of Universal has been seriously lacking lately, is that everything's been so robotic ever since Mike kind of stepped away from doing the Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So it was nice to see that come back. But I mean, the past 2 days with all the new stuff, it's been right back to that same robotic approach, though. So it was like a one night only type deal.
I think it was Mike.
100% it was Mike, unless it was just someone pretending to be Mike. Which
even some of the language he used in the tweet about the passion and all that stuff. That's I could see him saying that.
Yeah, I would think that.
That's my take. So he just happened to be on site, and he's like, "Oh, hey, let me log on to the old Twitter here and shut everybody up." And
he was hanging out at home on a Friday night. He was just sitting on the toilet. He's like, "You know what? I'm gonna be here for about 20 minutes, so let me have some fun while I do it."
I think he saw the bat signal.
The haunt signal.
Interestingly enough, as part of those tweets, somebody had asked for confirmation as far as would there be more IPs and, what's the split. And they confirmed that there was a 5-4 split with IPs versus original houses. So, leading into the next announcement or the next piece here, we at least now know what 4 of those 5 IPs are. So, as previously announced, we have American Horror Story, we have Ash versus Evil Dead, The Shining, we'll no longer call it The Shining. I see nothing but people repeatedly typing Shining.
It's like the new
Shining.
Definitely, when people write defiantly. I defiantly can't wait to do The Shining. The Shinning. I'm sorry, I even screwed that up. God damn it.
You could defiantly tell who has autocorrect shut off on their phones.
Wait a
or
minute.
their
Shitting?
lives.
The shitting.
What if? Wait. What if it's actually a Treehouse of Horror maze, but based off the Shinning episode?
Confirmed.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make a Shinning
There you go.
t-shirt now too.
Who's your shitting? Oh, you mean Shining? Shut up! You want to get sued?
So we did get the fourth IP announced yesterday. I don't think it was a surprise to folks, but they did announce Saw, and you know, I don't know if it's the worst thing that's been announced so far this year, but what do you guys think?
No. I'm going based off my time on the West Coast, where I think they did it 3 or 4 times. I don't know how many times it's been done out here. I don't know. I like the first movie. I haven't seen the 10 sequels, but I would have rather just taken another, I don't know, made from scratch house than Saw. That's just me. I'm not big on the franchise.
You know, I'm not big on the Saw franchise either, and I've seen all of them. So, you know, because I'm one of those guys who just repeatedly goes back for pain. So I saw all 7 of them in the theaters, and but I remember the Saw house. I don't remember what year it was, and someone can fill me in.
It was 2009.
2009.
Yep, it was 2009.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And so I remember that house that was in the Jaws queue, and I liked that house actually. So I would be okay with seeing it again. You know, brought to Halloween Horror Nights. I actually, it's funny because I don't know if I don't mean to sound cynical. I don't know if my standards have lowered, but I actually kind of likes the last couple of announcements between Ash vs. Evil Dead and Saw. Like I'm excited for both of those houses.
I think they're both fun. That's the thing, you know. And I think, you know, Ash vs. Evil Dead. I still haven't watched the show, but it is sitting there on Blu-ray for my availability. Yeah, but Saw, you know, it's funny, you know, and I was hoping that it would be more geared towards the movie that's coming out, because it's really funny. And then if you factor in what I know Drew is going to expand upon here, it becomes really funny. You know, so I think it could be better than Krampus as far as fun factor goes. What do you think, Drew?
Well, for me, I was always kind of, when I thought that they were just doing Jigsaw, I was really against it. But I think that they're going to include some of the earlier movies. It definitely makes it more something that I would like to see. Because, like Paul, I did The House in 2009, and I really liked it. I'm a big fan of the first movie. I think the second one is pretty good. After that is where they kind of lost me. But, you know, Billy the Puppet is always going to be pretty awesome. The music that they use, the main theme of that movie, is pretty badass. And, you know, like you were just saying, we talked about it on this podcast before, which is how I saw it, is the Living with Jigsaw video and the Working with Jigsaw videos. Those are freaking hysterical. So now, you know, as a group, I feel like we're going in there, like, knowing that we're going to laugh because of those videos. You know, like, he's going to be like, I want to play a game. It's like, well, I just want to take a shower, dude. You know what I mean? Like that's where my head is at about it. But as far as repeating the property, I mean, if we really look at the past couple of years, you know, American Werewolf in London was just a direct repeat. But the past 2 years, there's also been something that has happened, but it's been a couple of years, and they're recycling it in a new way. You know, like, we had Freddy vs. Jason. Well, 8 years before that, we had Freddy and Jason in separate houses. You know, last year, we had Halloween, which was a direct sequel to the original Halloween 2 years before that. So it's been a long time since Saw was at the event. And, you know, my whole thing was all year, so I can't believe that they're deeming this kind of a relevant property in 2017. But people are excited for it. So I think for them, ultimately, it was a good move. And what was once probably my least looking forward to property might be my most looking forward to right now, honestly. As crazy as that sounds, but I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too. You know, I like the Saw movies. I think after 3, you can kind of scrap the rest because it just kind of spirals kind of out of control.
Yep.
But I'm excited for it. I have good memories of the 2009 house. I had a bad night at HHN that year, but I have good memories of that house. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm really excited about Ash vs. Evil Dead. I've seen all the episodes. I just want to see the puppet. That's all I care about is the Ashy Slashy puppet, because that'll make my night. If they just have that in there, I will be happy. Plus, Saw is not The Walking Dead, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
150%. I literally just said that on my Inside Universal podcast. It's the same, maybe not in terms of the numbers of the same appeal, but it really goes to like that same audience of people, like the mainstream, like Facebook, like they see the video on Facebook and they become interested. It appeals to that group of people.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. That's the way I look at it.
Could always be worse.
Yep.
Walking Dead.
Kyle loves The Walking Dead.
I watch the show. I'm just over the houses.
Fear the Walking Dead.
No, please, please.
Hold on, wait. Does anybody actually watch Fear the Walking Dead?
Still on?
It is. I'm wondering, even after all this time, can you name more than like 2 characters? I can't.
No.
It's like generic girl, generic drug heroin addict son. I don't know any of their names.
I know it takes place in LA, and I think that's why I never watched it.
I watched one episode, and I was like, man, I hope all these characters die.
I was not a fan of that show. I watched 3 episodes, and I had to just shut it off forever.
Yeah.
Then he just threw his TV out the window.
The next big announcement that came out today, which I think had been rumored for the last year or two, but finally actually made official today, was that Bill and Ted will finally meet the Reaper. I don't know if I'm overly upset. I think my personal thought is that year after year, we've all gone to see that show and walked out of that show and said, God, that was pretty bad. It hasn't been really that great for a bit. Last year's show, especially, was the first time that I saw people booing and getting up and leaving because of the political content in the show. So I'm sad to see it go because it's a staple, and it's usually a fun thing to see, especially that one of the main reasons that we went, and I could even say for my wife and daughter, was to watch you had hot guys, hot girls dancing, and you had some type of semblance of storyline, but it just really hasn't been that great. So that's my thoughts, at least.
I'm pretty distraught about it. I don't want to sound over dramatic, but I mean, ultimately, there was one constant staple of the event for me. This is my 11th year going. This year coming up, every single year, and one of the things that made me really interested in going to Halloween Horror Nights when I was younger, besides the first year I went was when it was Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface. That sold me on going. But I remember for about 2 or 3 years before that, when I wasn't too interested in the event just yet, but I remember seeing bootleg videos of the Bill and Ted show back then. And I remember, I was probably about 15 years old maybe, thinking man, I would love to see a show like that be part of Universal all the time. That's hilarious to me. So it was one of the things that I was really looking forward to when I went for my first time. And I've always made it a point to see the show, usually multiple times, 2 or 3 times during the course of the run. But I feel like something is going to be missing. It's just going to be very bizarre to go and Bill and Ted is not going to be there. It eats up a ton of people. It's just, I can't explain it. There's just something about a Halloween Horror Nights without Bill and Ted that just kind of feels like, Magic Kingdom without fireworks, or Epcot without Spaceship Earth. It's just something that I always relate to the event. So for it to not be there, it's just going to be very, very bizarre to me.
I like Bill and Ted.
I like the characters, Bill and Ted. I like the humor. The storyline has really not been that fantastic, I think. But
yeah, I know I have enjoyed Bill and Ted in years past, but I took off. I think I took off 22 and 23 from going to Halloween Horror Nights, and I don't think I've enjoyed it for 24, 25, and 26. I know there have been times where I've enjoyed it, but the last couple of years I've been like, okay, I think I get, to Drew's point, it's a tradition now. They're gonna have to come up with something else for just for the sake of spreading out the crowd, because you can't just have one show. You're gonna need something to siphon out that crowd to go somewhere. But at the same time, and this is no offense to any of the talent involved in the show, the singing, the dancing, the acting, like none of it was bad for me. For me, it came down to the writing, and I just have not enjoyed the writing in that show in years.
Nathan?
Well, I thought the hot guy dancer ratio last year wasn't really on par. I saw last year's all of once, and I pretty much fought anybody that mentioned going to see it again anytime I went. But here's my question. Why can't they just put it somewhere else, like on that stage, or make another stage somewhere? Why do you have to just because the venue's gone, why do you have to get rid of the actual show?
I think that's the thing, right? So, like, people were assuming that the show is going because the Fear Factor area is going. But if they wanted to, they could put that somewhere else.
Exactly.
The second show that was ongoing over where Beetlejuice was, they found a home for that, albeit in the middle of the street. But, they could have found somewhere for it to go long term. Next year's Halloween Horror Nights, I think, is going to be logistically challenged anyway with the Nintendo stuff going on, off to the side and the back. So, whether that stage was going to be there or not, if you got to spread the event next year over 2 parks or wherever you got to put things, they could have found a home if they wanted to. They could, nothing's saying that next year that Academy of Villains has to come back either. They could have done Bill and Ted stand up, general admission style, over in the street too. I think they just wanted to cut the cord, and that show its time had come.
I mean, you got the T2 theater, the Animal Actors stage, stage outside Transformers. It's not like.
But the problem is none of those are gonna be there long term. Every one of those things is on borrowed time.
What about a soundstage?
That's the only other solution. Right? That's the other solution. But if you're losing, so let's say you're losing while Nintendo construction's going on, you're definitely losing the parade building. First of all, that's gone. The sprung tent, I'm assuming they're gonna like rework the entrance to another area over there. So you figure if the Fear Factor theater is being ripped down and there's tons of construction over there, it's going to be really difficult for them to have a house in that tent over there where Chance was last year. So you're looking at 2 locations that are gone for next year, potentially. And Shrek is another one, which there's rumblings that might be going soon for another new attraction. So you might be down 3 venues. So naturally the thought is, well, maybe they'll just do it where it's in both parks and they'll kind of spread everything out a little bit. But if they want to just keep it in studios, they might have to use even more sound stages than they do already, which would make no room for a show like that.
My God, where's TNA going to go?
This is bankrupt.
But I'm still getting a Mario Kart ride,
correct? I don't know what to say. I think that, I'm going to use this comparison again with wrestling, pro wrestling. Last week we talked about it, our last episode. In pro wrestling, you have what's considered marks, or smart marks. Marks are people that are buying in everything. Smart marks kind of, they want to know, or they read the dirt sheets and they live and breathe the product. And I think there were a lot of smart marks here that were looking for the crowd to be overly sensitive or distraught by the fact that the show was gone. And I didn't see that reaction for the most part on social media today. I saw some people, getting upset, but I think for the most part, everybody kind of said the same thing. The show was funny for a while. It hasn't been funny in years, and maybe it is time to move on.
With Bill and Ted, it's like you guys said, it's tradition. I'm thinking about going to Horror Nights next year, and then last night it's like that's tradition is doing the last Bill and Ted show. I'm that guy. I go and do it, and it's my yearly update to music and pop culture and that kind of things. Maybe some things that I missed, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm sad to see it go, but it is a little long in the tooth, and I'm just hoping they replace it with some other level of like comedy type show, where you can go and watch it. I hope they have something, maybe not necessarily Bill and Ted, but in the same kind of format, you know?
Well, I think the only thing that could really replace it, given that stipulation, is live podcasting with the four Hauntsmen, HHN 28.
Live on stage.
You would never see so many people walk out of a theater than more so than Rocky Horror than if they did that.
Hold my beer.
I'd rather see Rocky Horror come back. We need to bring it
No
back.
thanks. No thanks. Bring something
Bring
new.
it back.
Bring something new, for the love of God. If you're gonna do a new show, let it be something new and interesting.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm with Drew.
Bring it back. The Monster Stage Show.
Maybe they'll do Beetlejuice. They'll bring Beetlejuice back. Beatles
Yes.
Maniacs.
Beatles
I-
Maniacs.
Can I interject something really quick? What would you guys think at some point if they did a Beetlejuice house? Is like the dark comedy type house, you know, your Krampus type house. That would be awesome.
I know Kyle would be all for it.
I love
say we-
Beetlejuice. I love the
That'd be
movie.
yeah, I like it.
All
Yeah.
right. Just put it out there,
Could be
I
some
think that'd be
badass
fun.
puppetry in there.
right?
Tim Burton can come to the park. All right. So I kind of had, a brain lapse here when we started the show because we introduced Johnny, and Johnny's from Hauntscene. I didn't spend the time like I had planned. Okay, so you guys should know we do actually come up with some type of an agenda for the show, and
No, we don't.
I wrote it out, and
Yeah.
I still screwed this up. So
Okay.
We talked about
did-
Bill and Ted. We're good.
yeah.
Catch you guys next week.
Yeah.
I did want to talk a little bit about Hauntscene and talk to Johnny about what he's got going on over by him. So you can give us a little introduction to the
All
world
right.
of Johnny Bronto.
Johnny Bronto. Yes, so I'm Johnny Bronto, and I'm the host and founder of Hauntscene. And a couple of years ago, we started that as a YouTube live stream. So we actually have video. And our first 2 seasons were growing. You know, I mean, I had to kind of teach myself video editing and XSplit and streaming, and I was just kind of. I don't know. This last off season though, I actually had a chance to sit down, learn a bunch of stuff, put a bunch of money into the show. So I'm really hoping that this year it'll be a little bit better. I've also really kind of pivoted a little bit away from just doing mainly theme park stuff, because that was mainly what we talked about was like Horror Nights and like Howl-O-Scream, that kind of thing, because I've formed pretty good friendships with the local haunt owners, and Chamber of Terror, Ominous Descent, Shallow Grave, among some of the other folks that work at the theme parks. And I'm really kind of pro independent haunt, and actually I didn't mind this little void of no announcements and everything, because I do think that a lot of the other haunts took advantage of that. And that's really good, because there are so many people, and I know you guys know this, that will never ever do anything else. That's it. They're just going to buy their Frequent Fear Plus or their Frequent Fear Ultimate or whatever, and just go to Horror Nights for 45 nights or whatever it is, And I'm glad that there was an opportunity for some of the other haunts to kind of speak up, because they're really cool. I kind of fell in love first with the Shallow Grave in Winter Haven. We did that one 2 years ago, the first season of the show, and I was like, oh my God, there's more than Horror Nights, and that's really kind of where the show's at right now. So, Hauntscene.com, if you guys want to follow us on social media, be giving away all kinds of tickets, all kinds of stuff. So, that's my pitch. That's my 3-minute pitch right there.
Yeah,
But I'm
you
excited.
actually you just did a giveaway, or you had like a little soiree happening in Altamont, right?
Yeah. We had Melissa, the co-host, she went to SuperCon, so she was there, and they had a booth for Annabelle, and I guess it was a promotional company from Warner Brothers. And we have business cards, and she passed one out. Didn't really think anything of it. She got some swag, and the next morning I got an email from the person that she met, and they asked us if we wanted to host a screening in Altamont. And of course I'm going to say yes, because that kind of helps promote the show, and I really wanted to see the movie, and it worked out. It was like a win-win. But then the gears started turning, and we actually, the previous Saturday, we drove around for 11 hours all over Central Florida, hit every major haunt in this area, and got a bunch of coupons and things to give away. Mortem Manor at Old Town, they gave us 50 tickets to give away, and we gave everybody like a little goodie bag of haunt stuff. So that was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Give those Mortimer Manor tickets back.
What? All right. So, question. No. Real quick about Mortimer Manor, because I did them last season. I did Mortimer Manor, and if you ask me about Old Town Legends, I was in love with Legends. I loved it. I thought it was fun. I loved Dan Caro. It was a lot of fun. And I will admit, the first time I went through Mortimer Manor last season, I was not impressed. And that might have been a lot of bias because I had gone through Legends so much. But I went through Mortimer Manor about a month ago, and I was pretty impressed. They kind of have their own voice now, so if you haven't been to Mortimer Manor, I wouldn't discount it too much because it has greatly improved from what they did last year. And they're a nice group of guys. I mean, I got to say that too. So, but it was fun. I mean, what do you expect? It's a year-round haunt in a strip mall in Old Town. You gotta put your standards, there. You have to adjust accordingly, I guess.
They do have a bar downstairs, but they actually, I think that the price that they charge is in line with what you might pay right now, at least for like Howl-O-Scream or somewhere in that range. So
that's the one we went on, right?
We did go to
like 10, 15 bucks. Yeah, if you went to it last year, all the walls were empty. They didn't have a lot of theming up. They were just kind of getting it up and running. Now the whole thing is filled out, and it's kind of its own attraction now. I would highly recommend. It's not expensive. I would recommend to check it out again.
Is there more than one guy inside of it, or gal? I'm sorry.
I still think they're going with the standard, like 2 or 3 characters. And the way the haunt's built they've got a bunch of like back passageways. So there's a lot of like combo multi-scares where they can hit you from different angles. But it was, I was pretty happy with the last time I went.
Okay. Yeah, we had one scare actor when we went through.
Yeah, I think I did. I think he had like an electric like hedge trimmer or something. And it was just like,
working.
Oh.
No, was
he just like waving it at you?
Knee pads, that awesome. Shot across the floor, and that was like it. But
yeah, trust me, guys, I would give it another shot.
Cool. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to check it out. Maybe I'll have to have us out.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do. I think the second week of September we're doing like a haunt warm up where I would like to do Mortimer Manor and Zombie Outbreak. So we might do an event. If you guys are interested, let me know.
That'd be cool. Yeah. So. Where can folks find you, Johnny? Is there an address?
We're all over social media. Hauntscene.com, @Hauntscene, Instagram, Snapchat, everything, Twitter. So you guys can follow us there. We're mainly geared through the show, so we'll start up September 5th. And if you go to www.hauntscene.com, you'll see that we have links to the live stream. If you want to go and see there, you can also see links to our previous 2 seasons. That's kind of where we're funneling everything. Now that I actually have a website that I'm proud of, because we had Jake who joined Hauntscene. He redid the website. It's actually like a legit website. It's way better than I deserve, but it's really cool. I look at it, I'm still in shock, and it's been a month, and he really helped us out. So. Thank you, Jake, if you're watching or listening. Yes. Other than that, we'll be out every weekend in September and October. We already have our calendar set. We'll be out doing haunts all over the place. In Central Florida, we're thinking about taking a road trip up to Netherworld this year in Atlanta. And I think we're slowly going to start, not necessarily neglecting Central Florida, but I would like to do at least 1 or 2 trips a year and go do like, Halloween Horror Nights West Coast, go to Salem, something like that, and go to different pockets and have a little bit more to talk about than just this area and really open people's eyes as far as what's out there.
Salem be cool.
Yeah. But yeah, if you ever have any questions, reach out to us. We're really easy to get hold of. You can hit us up through Facebook if you want. And if you have any questions about the haunts, I've done them all here, Central Florida. So yeah, just let me know. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on the show.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to bring you in. You got a lot to offer. You are the name of the game when it comes to local haunts, and folks should know that.
That's what I want. And I do more than just go to the park and take pictures of light bulbs.
Damn it, that was my last 3 videos.
There's pumpkins
Sorry.
now.
Hey man, it's 6,000 views apparently, but yeah, no, I really love the haunt community. I really want to push people towards doing things other than theme parks. That's really the point of Hauntscene at this point, is to get people doing the independent haunts, because they're local businesses. You have to support that, you know.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
All right.
End commercial.
This segment was brought to you by
Mortimer Manor.
Let's talk a little bit about Howl-O-Scream.
Ooh.
Howl-O-Scream last week, they had a social media kind of blitz at least one day, where I thought it was kind of brilliant, where they're attacking multiple facets of social media. They told everybody on Twitter to head over to Facebook, where they did a live stream to announce a new house, and then they went over to Snapchat.
Yep.
And they displayed the logo for the house, etc. But for those that don't know, they announced Demented Dimensions would be one of the 2 new houses that's coming to Howl-O-Scream at Busch Gardens, Tampa this year. Every room in the house is going into a different dimension. Looks really cool.
Yeah.
Nathan, any thoughts?
Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
And I'm okay with that. I'm totally fine with that.
yeah, last year they had the puppets, and that kind of reminded me of Twilight Zone also. So maybe there's somebody over there that's really into Twilight Zone.
Well, you gotta go out this year, because next year they're turning into a Guardians of the Galaxy maze.
And they also had announced Zombie Containment Unit would be coming back. For those that don't know, Zombie Containment Unit, it's kind of a fun maze. It usually has one of the longest lines, because I think that the setup for you to go in that house is a little bit more difficult than other houses. You need to get equipped with kind of like a laser pistol, and you go around and shoot the zombies so that they're not chasing after you. They hit like a pause thing.
I'm sitting this one out.
Nathan's not a big fan of it. I love the concept of it. It depends, I think, when you go, how well executed the concept is. I think it's extremely awesome as a concept, but the volume of people that are waiting to go in and the speed that you have to go through the house kind of takes away from it a little bit.
We didn't even wait to go in, right? Because we had the fast pass, or the buffet fast pass.
Yeah, Fright Feast.
Yeah, that was the first thing we did. We ran over there, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
And got in and came out, and I'm like, this is going to be the worst night ever. But everything went uphill after that. Everything else is great there.
Yeah, well, if you do the Fright Feast, you have to do Zombie Containment Unit first. It's just kind of an unwritten rule for Howl-O-Scream, because they don't. I don't think there's an express pass for it. So if you miss that early entry window, good luck.
Yeah, the line it's like Woodstock long to get into that house.
Yeah, I've had to skip it before. So
Demented Dimensions. Any thoughts on that house for me and Johnny?
I wish there was more. You guys mentioned Twilight Zone. I wish there was more sci-fi. There's so much good sci-fi horror stuff out there. Anything that's like, Twilight Zone-ish. If you look at the logo, it looks really kind of Twilight Zone-ish. I think that was intentional. I'm really looking forward to Demented Dimensions, even though it's going to replace something that I had a really soft spot for, which was Zombie Mortuary, because it's going to be Zombie Mortuary's location. Yeah. So kind of a bummer. You lose something, you gain something.
I definitely think that's the one last year I had the most fun in, was the Zombie Mortuary.
Yeah.
I went through the house completely alone last year, like by myself, and I think they had it out for me. So I got a really good goodbye present from Zombie Mortuary, because how often do you ever get to do a house by yourself?
I absolutely love Zombie Mortuary, and I will say this: there's something unique about going through the house. The first time that we went through last year, everybody was on point scaring. We have a problem sometimes with the YouTube channel. It's not a problem per se, but I'd rather be scared first and then have like maybe a scare actor say hello, after the scare has occurred. But it doesn't tend to happen that way at Halloween Horror Nights a lot of times. But at Zombie Mortuary, we went through one time, got all the scares, went through again. Then folks kind of, did the out of character thing to at least say hey or something. But it's one of the most tightly compressed houses, or it was, and chock full of scares. I love the giant rat in the house. And anyway, I will shed a tear for Zombie Mortuary. But I have faith in them that things will go well for Demented Dimensions based off of what they did with Motel Hell and then Unearthed the year before. So
I'm with you.
the other house that's still coming back, Deathwater Bayou, one of Nathan's favorites.
Oh, I'll be ready this time.
I love Deathwater Bayou. I love the New Orleans style funeral. I love the voodoo room. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, if you touch anything on the walls, they will yell at you. Just as an FYI. Learn the hard way. Don't touch things. There's one more new house that they're going to be announcing, and I think 2 more existing houses, if the math is correct.
Well, Unearthed and Motel Hell are coming back, and then there'll be one more new one.
One more new one, and
Yeah.
there's no more existing houses.
Nope. Oh, Black Spot, the pirate
Black
one.
Spot. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's what you got me for.
The real 4th Hauntsman, Paul.
Yeah.
Just because this guy does his research. Come on.
I'm still holding on to the title. See if I make it through the rest of the episode.
So there was also a tweet out there from the social media team today. But their hashtag for this year, I think, is Nowhere to Hide, or I think something like that. Nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. I think it's Nowhere to Hide.
I think it's nowhere to hide.
Sounds like a Van Damme movie.
Van Damme may be employed by Busch Gardens at this point.
Can I get you a refill?
Yeah. The video was the gentleman from social media team on Cobra's Curse and kind of getting strapped in next to a zombie and having a zombie in front of them. And one of my all-time favorite things about Howl-O-Scream is the zombie bumper cars, but the rumor is this year that it'll expand to other attractions. So
Ooh, that's fun.
if that's the case, I mean,
That's
sign
awesome.
me up.
Yeah.
Cobra's
Yeah.
Curse is amazing to me as a roller coaster. I love that ride, and what could possibly make it any better?
I may have to go wake my wife up and tell her this right now. Because she's asked me several times, like, are the bumper cars coming back? I'm like, yeah, probably. I don't know.
I need to do the bumper cars this year.
It's one of those moments where you'll laugh so hard you cry.
I'm
That's
usually
amazing.
running through Howl-O-Scream, so I'm trying to get everything in before the express ends from the Fright Feast. That might be something I might want to do. I'm going to spend more time at the park this year.
It's well worth it. I mean, I think the last couple episodes we kind of stacked up Howl-O-Scream against HHN, and I think if Howl-O-Scream was closer, or at least if I was closer to it, I think I'd spend more time there than probably over at Halloween Horror Nights. It's the fun factor is just that much more, I think.
It's getting there. I happen to live in Davenport, which is towards kind of halfway between downtown Orlando and like Lakeland area. So I'm a little closer. And I think they're doing the season pass this year. That's the rumor. I think they are going to be doing a season pass, so they'll do their equivalent of like a Freak of Fair over there.
Yeah,
I'm in Claremont if you want a carpool.
Yeah. Hey man, just head right down 27, and then we'll just roll right there, man.
We know that there's potentially a new show that's coming that hasn't been announced, or a new event that'll be happening in the theater where Fiends formerly was for their dinner show. The Fright Feast package. We've seen posts online that Fiends would be moving to Stanleyville, so it's moving away. So I think kind of anxious to see where things shake out. I know that ticket deal for the $29.99 is supposed to end tomorrow. We're recording this on the 15th. I think it's supposed to end the 16th. So I imagine we're going to get the rest of the details for Howl-O-Scream after the ticket package push expires.
Are they doing a countdown?
Yeah, they're going to have a countdown to a contest also.
Sweet.
So,
Smooth.
but that's what's going on with Howl-O-Scream. Anything up by you, Paul? Any announcements for Busch Gardens Williamsburg?
It's all quiet on the Busch Gardens front since last week we talked about, or last episode, I should say. We talked about.
I thought you were going to say it's all quiet in Virginia. I'm like, no, not really.
Current events.
Yeah. No, it's as far as Busch Gardens is concerned in Virginia or in Williamsburg, Virginia, they haven't announced anything new for their Howl-O-Scream. I don't know that they're going to. But then again, I said that a couple of weeks ago, and they announced that Axe Alley Scare Zone was happening. So, some stuff hopefully will be coming in over the next week or two, if there is new stuff to actually announce. I mean, if Switchfoot's going to be playing there on Friday and Neo on August 26th, but that's about as scary as it's getting right now.
That's the warm-up tour for the 2018 Mardi Gras lineup.
Yeah. They did say that there is going to be a kid-friendly Halloween event. I know we talked about that at Busch Gardens Tampa, but there's going to be the Count's Halloween Spooktacular on Saturdays and Sundays from October 7th through October 29th.
Nothing like the Big Bird's family-friendly Samhain party.
Now, Big Bird's not so frightening Samhain party.
That was awesome. Very, I love that title.
Oh boy.
But you had mentioned Johnny. You had mentioned some local haunts, and there were a couple of local haunts we wanted to talk a little bit about today.
Yep.
So Kyle, you had brought up Beast of Blackwood.
Yeah, so Beast of Blackwood. We actually, I spoke with Sam a little bit more. Sam is one of the creative minds behind Beast of Blackwood.
Oh, nice.
I actually just spoke with him again on Sunday while at the last hurrah for Great Movie Ride. So he'll be coming in the next episode to talk a little bit more about Beast of Blackwood. I think the best I can gather to say as a preview, they're opening September 8th. They're haunted trail with 80s nostalgia, and it's kind of like an escape game meets a woods-based haunted attraction or haunt attraction. So we'll get more information about Beast of Blackwood soon.
I will be listening to that because I'm very interested.
Very cool. Screamageddon's back, so they've shaken off the cobwebs. I'm just inventing words. They also announced that Infected Ground Zero is new for 2018, and that's another interactive or mark yourself house.
Oh man.
So the funny thing about that particular house is that I believe that's taking over the other kind of Ground Zero type house that they had last year, and I can't remember the name that they had for that, whether it was Infected or whatever. That's where we were
on the left side.
Yeah, we were running in that field.
Ones.
Yeah, we got separated from things. The thing I can, I remember the most about that is that I smashed my head on the overpass for where the stairs go down into like the basement area.
Oh, I did that too. We had to creep down.
Yeah, I didn't creep.
Yeah, I still hurt myself.
That'll be the new house for this year. It's joining Blackpool Prison, and Bedlam 3D is back. The Haunted Trail Dead Woods, the Amazing Hayride is back. So that actually opens the week after Halloween Horror Nights opens. So I'm hoping to try to get a trip into Screamageddon like on a Friday and head over to Howl-O-Scream for that Saturday if it's at all possible, so we can report back to everybody how awesome things are. But you made it out to Screamageddon last year, Johnny?
Oh yeah, I've done Screamageddon both years. We had a lot of fun. It's first year. I think they were just kind of finding themselves. I remember when they first announced their tickets, they were like way too expensive. But I had fun. I loved. As a matter of fact, the prison house last year was one of my favorite houses like of last year total. Yep. It was very scary. I do not want to be in a prison ever. It was. I did the interactive one, and I was the only person in the group that did the interactive part of it. Man, I'm good. It was fun, but I'm looking forward to this year. I think I'm gonna go out in early October, the first Thursday in October. I believe I'm going out.
Very cool.
But it'll be fun. Yeah.
The interactive piece alone at those houses it's worth the money.
Definitely interactive.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And going back to that new house, like whatever, I can't remember what it was called last year, but the Infected house last year, all I remember is like we got split up as a group, and I know I was walking with my wife and I believe with Nathan's wife, and we were in that area with like the sheets, and some guy came screaming at us that he couldn't find his way out, and a chainsaw guy was chasing him towards us, and it was like kind of legit felt like you were in like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something, you're like walking one way and you're obviously going the wrong way. So it was awesome. Shallow Grave is back. And I'm going to let Johnny kind of dictate a little bit more of the conversation around Shallow Grave and Ominous Descent. And
Okay.
I'm very familiar with them.
I am. Shallow Grave is coming back this year. They're making some slight alterations to the Paver Nocturnus house. That's keeping the same name, which is the house on the right when you guys go. The house on the left, though, the Betrayal house, that's going to have some significant changes. I think they're redoing about maybe a third or so of the haunt. I was there last Saturday to see the new finale, and I know what it's going to be, and it's something other haunts haven't done before. So I would highly recommend to put Shallow Grave on your list this year. Very, very important you guys do that one. It's been consistently one of the top rated haunts in Central Florida. I would definitely put Shallow Grave, especially if you've never been. Go this year. They've got a new pass called Feargasm, where you can. I know, right? You could pay one price, and then on select nights you can have unlimited re-entry. And the cool thing about Shallow Grave is it's so detailed. You're never ever going to see everything in one go. So having the ability to go through multiple times, I think, is going to be a real benefit to them this year. But Shallow Grave is awesome. Joe Phillips is a haunt savant, man. He just effortlessly does his haunt work. It's super detailed. I actually went and saw Annabelle with that group on last Saturday. I saw it a second time. So, but Shallow Grave definitely put it on the list this year. Ominous Descent. Ominous Descent's a new haunt in Bartow. It's about 20 minutes away from the Shallow Grave. So it's in the South Lakeland area. It's in an old, USDA slaughterhouse type thing. The location is super creepy. And one of the cool things about Ominous Descent this year is I did get a chance to basically kind of watch that haunt come up from the ground, which is a very unique thing for here. Because, I mean, how often do you actually get to see the construction from walls all the way to what it is now? So they're going to have a haunt out there. I would highly recommend to do that one as well. Eric Chatter's super cool. They're going to have all kinds of community stuff going on out there. So keep an eye on Ominous Descent. You know, if you go to shallowgrave.com, ominousdescent.com, or just Google them, you can find them. Kind of the third one in that trio is going to be the Chamber of Terror in Tampa. That's going to be the one on the ship. If you guys, you may get a chance to do that yet?
No.
Okay. Do you like being scared? Do you like it when people jump out at you and scare the crap out of you?
Only if there's 40 people in front of me.
No, well, they own all these. What's really cool about these independent haunts is they pulse the line. So unless the group in front of you is super slow or just scared out of their minds, it's hard to catch the group in front of you. I have to say about Chamber of Terror, out of all of the haunts that I did last year, and keep in mind, if it was a haunt here, I did it. Out of all of the haunts, I think Chamber of Terror got me more than anybody, because you're on a ship and it's got a million portholes and thresholds and doorways, and you're going up the weather deck and down in the ship, and you're up and down all over the place. And you think, you were so trained to go through theme park haunts, where the scares are going to come from. In Chamber of Terror, no, they're going to get you. I think Courtney said that he had about 50 characters last year, or maybe more. I would probably say at least 2/3 of them got me, and that's pretty big. So if you'd like to be scared, go to Chamber of Terror. You know what's cool is about Shallow Grave, Ominous Descent, Chamber of Terror. They all have like their own little voice. Like they all feel different, which is pretty cool. So I would definitely put those on your list. I haven't been out to Sir Henry's yet. I've done a walkthrough a couple times there. I think that one's going to be awesome in the dark, and I hear good things about it. Have you guys ever done that one before?
No.
Put it on your list, and there's all kinds of other stuff to do. You just kind of look for it.
Yeah, we looked and we found like some really crappy places last year. So
yeah, I mean, I don't want to be a haunt troll. I don't ever want to be put in a situation where I have to trash a haunt. So unfortunately, there were a couple last year that I didn't feel like I wanted to mention on the show because I didn't want to be put in that situation. But I encourage everybody to go and make your own decisions. That's probably the best thing to do. But I'm really excited about this year, and I can't really go into detail. When I know some of the haunt owners, and they've actually become some very close friends of mine. But I don't really think we're ever going to have a haunt year like we are this year in 2017. It's never going to be like this again. So if you guys have never gone out to do the independent haunts, you have to make sure you get out there this year. It's very important. I can't really go into detail, but the landscape of haunts is going to start to change after this year, and I can't really go into detail beyond that. But this is the year to do stuff. Get out there and support local businesses and commercial.
Support everybody.
Everybody. It's just I've really fallen in love with the independent haunts. They're all really cool. They're all really good people. I mean, even a Petrified Forest, Sir Henry's. I consider like Mortem Manor and Zombie Outbreak. I just throw them in there just because, if you want to do something different, go do something different. There's all kinds of Never Ending Nightmares one I haven't had a chance to do. That one's going to be in your neck of the woods over in Claremont, Coe area. So there is stuff you just have to kind of go and look for it. And after you find one and you have a really good time, like I did when I went to the Shallow Grave the first time, you want to do more. So I would recommend it.
Yeah, I've been out to Petrified Forest every year. I think that we've lived here. I love that haunt too. It may be a little bit more less involved as other places, but it's always fun.
Well, Johnny, you mentioned that you had seen Annabelle for the second time.
I did.
So, I saw it. I think Kyle saw it. I don't know, Nathan or Drew, if you guys saw it.
I did not, but I've heard that it's awesome.
It was so good. I've seen a lot of horror movies because in addition to the haunt stuff, we're going to start to branch out into some of the horror stuff. And I have to say, Annabelle Creation was probably one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. Like it got me. If you don't like creepy dolls and all that stuff, it's gonna get you. I saw it a second time, which is unheard of for me. Because I typically just see movies once in a theater and I make the decision whether I want to own it or not. I saw Annabelle twice and it totally holds up, even the second one. You're going to notice more when you go and see it again. And make sure you stay through all of the credits, not just the first little teaser, all the way to the very, very bitter end till they kick you out.
And thankfully, the credits are short. It's not a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So, there is something worth waiting for. I was excited for Annabelle Creation. I don't love the first Annabelle. And quite frankly, I only like the first Conjuring. I don't really like the second one. But I was still looking forward to this primarily because of the director, David Sandberg, who also his directorial debut was Lights Out. And I really liked Lights Out. I was super impressed with that. And apparently so was Warner Brothers, because the guy's been signed up to do a Shazam movie for 2019. But I was looking forward to this, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed Annabelle Creation. I thought more than just jump scares, which it had plenty of, it definitely had a good creep factor, goosebumps, tension to it. Old school horror film. And I'm going to let Kyle talk here in a second, but I will say, if I had one qualm, and you guys are going to hear this every time we talk about a big budget horror film, or at least a medium budget horror film, is that I hate when they go the CG route with the creatures, or when they show too much of the creatures, because there are spoiler warnings on, but there are a couple of moments in Annabelle Creation where they show a creature, like an actual creature, a demon, and every time they did it, it just took me out of the moment, because it was just like well lit and clear what the creature was, and that it was CG, and I was like, I just don't like that. And I have the same problem with Insidious. I have the same problem with Conjuring. It's just a thing that I don't care for. I prefer more shadows.
There's not many working demons in Hollywood lately.
It's like The Rock.
It's funny. Here's a weird thing about that is like when I saw Mama, you guys remember Mama from a couple years ago?
Yeah.
I actually really liked that movie, and that guy, the Mama character, that's actually a guy. Like there are some of those that I think you'd be surprised that some of those are not all CGI. Like the Crooked Man and Conjuring 2, that was a dude. I think and I know what scene you're talking about in Annabelle. I think that's just the same guy. It's that creepy, really tall, wiry guy. And if you watch like the making of Mama, you'll why does it feel weird when I'm saying Mama? I don't know, but it's just I don't know why it just feels weird coming out of my mouth. But yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is more practical than you think. I don't really know how much CGI was in those some of the scenes but I'll have to wait till I see the making of, because I had the same opinion about like The Conjuring 2 and Mama, but when I watched the making of, I was like, wow, that's actually a dude. So
Yeah, and maybe for me, it's just more showing it,
Right.
making it clear what the demon looks like instead of keeping it more ominous in the shadows.
Right. I got one question for you guys. Did you guys see Ouija 2?
Yes.
I did. It's the same girl.
Yeah, it was Lulu Wilson. I was really shocked about that. And I tweeted this. It's like Ouija 2 and Annabelle Creation, which is Annabelle 2. Those are like way better than the prequels, the ones that they did before. They're like those rare superior sequels. So I was really happy with Annabelle Creation and Ouija 2.
I agree.
Yeah, because that first Ouija film was wicked bad.
Yeah.
I really didn't care for that first Ouija film.
Yeah.
Plus, that girl is going to be like the Rock of horror movies now.
Right.
She is.
Yeah, maybe.
I like the movie a lot. Annabelle Creation was very scary. We went to go see it in the Dolby Theater where the seats shake and it's so deafening loud to begin with. So like, it was fun to see that movie with a crowd because we went to like a packed house and the people were screaming at the screen and talking back, and it's a different thing than watching it in the house and getting the different vibe. So it was great. All I could say is I love looking over at Jess. She was trying not to look at the screen sometimes, and it was great.
Yeah, when I went and saw it for the second time, I was really happy with the audience aspect of it because people were having fun with it. It's not a movie you some people just have to talk their way through those movies because they get so nervous or scared, but it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah. Should have been a house.
Should have been.
Oh my God, I want an Annabelle house. I was thinking that the whole time I was watching the movie. I'm like, why is this not a house?
Like
maybe next year.
Maybe next
Exactly.
year.
Well, speaking of movies that should have been houses,
Yeah.
Right?
So actually, one of the big things before Annabelle Creation, and I think this was I think it was the same in every theater, but we got a extended sneak peek at It.
Yes.
The theatrical release. And it was the entire scene of the boat going in the sewer and Pennywise talking. It's really super creepy, and it got me. The hype meter was off the charts after watching that scene.
I agree, 100%. Can't wait.
So I was just looking it up for this conversation. That movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes long. Like that's going to be 2 hours of scary. I'm looking forward to that. Most horror films are like your 90-minute.
yeah.
And it's going to be part 1. I mean, I believe they're doing they're going to be It part 2. So
it's a big book.
Yeah. But Nathan was talking about how this would make a good house, and there is a video, and I'm gonna plug another video that I saw on YouTube from Inside the Magic that they went to, I guess, some type of press media thing for the opening of this It experience out in California, and so they have video from inside the house, and they don't give away too much. I don't know if they. I'm genuinely not being mean here. I don't know if the camera guy wasn't good or if they were intentionally asked not to show certain things because there are certain things that just feel like they're off camera. But you still get a semblance of the house, and it's like an accurate representation of the house from the movie where Pennywise lives. And I think it looks awesome. I would love to see that somewhere else because it's multiple stories. Like I think it's 3 stories.
that's awesome.
It looks amazing. And of course, it's over on the other coast.
Yeah.
Nathan, you did something awesome.
I had a sandwich today. It was great.
It reminded you of Pennywise. Fast forward a little bit.
I played the VR tech demo came out, and then it's technically not on PlayStation VR, but if you have the Jaunt app, which is kind of a VR media app, it's kind of like YouTube, but for VR headsets, you can do it in full 3D 360. So I did that today, while some people just watched it on computers. But it was scary for 5 minutes. I didn't watch anything going in, and literally that clown, you get face to face with him several times, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'll have to try that. I got one of those headsets that you can put your phone in. I'll have to check that out.
It's on there too. It's pretty much on you can stream it on everything, but it's about 5 minutes. It's on rails, so it's moving for you, but it a couple times requires you to kind of turn around to see where he is. And I mean, literally the first minute and a half, you're walking down the street in the rain. You go to the sewer drain, you see him face to face, and it's like he's right there. I mean, he's
Nice.
like literally just looking at you. And then the rest of it, you're in the sewer, and it's just a lot of lights go out, lights come on. He's right in front of you. He disappears. A lot of balloons, and yeah, now I'm looking forward to it more than anything now.
I'm gonna have to record myself doing that tomorrow. Look like a complete idiot. Well, thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate that. I listen to you guys every week. So
For sure, man. Thanks for joining
yeah.
us.
Yeah, no problem. Keep it up, guys. I'm really looking forward to the Beasts of Blood something. Beast of Blackwood. I'm really looking forward to that next week.
Yeah, we're gonna find out some more information about that.
Nice.
As long as we don't get canceled ahead of time. The network's coming down hard on us.
Well,
That nonprofit.
So I think we reached that point in the show. If we have any plugs, Johnny, anything by you?
I'm a huge fan of Shelby Denim art. She did a great GMR, great movie ride shirt. She's an amazing artist. Check her out. If you just look up Shelby Denim Art on Google or Twitter or Facebook or whatever, she has a store. She's doing all kinds of shirts. Really want to promote her because I'm a big fan of her. She actually designed the ghost for Hauntscene, so I can't plug her enough. That sounds weird. I can't promote her enough. But yeah, check her out. She's great. And if you're listening right now, thank you for everything, Shelby. That's all I got.
Excellent.
And do independent haunts. Damn it.
Nathan?
I second the Shelby.
All right.
2 Shelbys.
Mhm.
Drew?
Well, I guess I'll be the selfish prick of the group and say that we should have a new episode of Inside Universal coming out maybe the same day that you're listening to this. Talking about Saw and Bill and Ted. And, of course, as always, my TeePublic store, which has 2 new designs now.
I really like those shirts. You did a great job with those shirts.
Thanks, man. 2 Bill and Ted tribute shirts. So, teepublic.com/user/Drubov. DRUBOV.
Paul?
All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug a horror movie I saw last week. We're not sponsored by them. I wish we were. So I saw the Autopsy of Jane Doe last week, and
Good.
Yeah, it is so good. And I had heard good things about it, but I'm typically not a guy who buys into the hype, especially when it comes to horror films, because I've been burned so many times. This one is genuinely good. Has Emile Hirsch, has Brian Cox. Just a really, really fantastic movie. It's available now on Blu-ray. I don't know if it's available streaming anywhere, but if you can get your hands on it, definitely watch it. The Autopsy of Jane Doe. How about you, Kyle?
As far as plugs, I could have plugged Shelby. I'll say Shelby does amazing work. She did our channel artwork also. Drew is also equally amazing. He's done channel artwork for us, as well as pretty much all of the graphics that you've seen out in the parks on our shirts to date. So both of them excellent resources, especially if you're looking for any type of designs for your sites, etc. Drew is the man to talk to.
Thank you.
The other thing to consider, 2 things. Don't look directly into that solar eclipse next week. And if you are heading to Busch Gardens for Howl-O-Scream, consider going to Cigar City Brewery. It is very close by. They have excellent pumpkin beers as well as other beers. They have tours of their breweries, etc. We're not sponsored by them or paid by them. I just love their products, so you can check them out. They are close to Busch Gardens. If you like beer, you will like Cigar City beer. And I think that is it for my plug.
Hauntscene.com. One last one for me.
All right, gentlemen. Well, episode 5 in the books.
We did it.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Now Rob Lowe cancels us.
We will see you gues next week.
Thank you for listening.
Be excellent to each other.
Just this year.
Oh.
See where that gets you.